welcome back to Soccer Talk with the Soul, brought to you as always by New Mexico Pinon Coffee. We want to talk quickly about Sam Allardyce. We didn't get to it in the last segment, right? It's kind of like his tenure as manager lasted about as long as our last segment.
Yeah.
So first, I do want you to give a quick rundown of this fiasco to our audience, if they are not aware, what exactly led to his firing. Why don't you go through that?
Let me give you the cliff notes. So 67 days after Sam Allardyce was hired as the England manager, he was fired as the England manager. And I think we have a nice little picture. In England, we call it getting sacked. Getting sacked means getting fired. So Sam Allardyce, after taking the job as an England manager, went out to a lunch with some reporters, or he thought they were reporters, from the Far East. And they were talking about player transfers, and there was talk of some exchange of about $500,000, and he would tell them on how they could sign international players. And there's a lot of I wish we had Dan Lodge to explain all of it, but I won't bore you with the details. Basically misrepresented the way that how you can get around buying players for certain amounts. And what happened was he started talking down the past England manager Roy Hodgson, the past England assistant Gary Neville, and was really just kind of seeking to profit from going around the rules. So of course the English FA, the Football Association, didn't take kind to this. The story leaked out. I couldn't believe it. I checked my Twitter, and next thing you know, the great hope of Big Sam was no more for England, and we just continue to go back to our misery. And I'm convinced the job is cursed if you're the manager of.
Right. And Gareth Southgate took over now, 0-0 draw against Slovenia. Yeah. So he's not off to the greatest of starts. My question to you is, when you see the big clubs in England, they have kind of turned to the big international managers, right? At what point do they say, "Hey, we don't care about getting an Englishman in here anymore. Let's get someone that can win"? When do they sell their soul, basically, to the Mourinho devil and bring Struck up to a big name like that?
Yeah, there was a few years back when I said, you know what, I wouldn't mind having Mourinho as the England manager. Us English, we're just so nostalgic on the past. We think that 66 can happen again, of course, the last time we won the World Cup, but we don't seem to take any steps forward. And it's sad. We invented the game. We should be the best in the world at this, and we just continue to. We've got the best league in terms of money in the world, and should attract the best talent. Yet we forget to develop our own players the correct way.
Well, there's a certain German that might be looking for a job soon once Landon Donovan gets his coaching license, right, and drives him out of the job.
There's a rumor that Jurgen Klinsmann would take the England job. And, it leads to another really cool news for United States soccer this past week. Bob Bradley got the job at Swansea City, the first American manager. Like how I transitioned from England?
That was very TV professional, right?
To Swansea City, the first American manager to manage in the Premier League. Huge news for the United States. A big compliment to U.S. soccer. Of course, there's the big contingent of the Swansea ownership that are American. But, Bob Bradley, a lot of people felt he was kind of pushed out the door. Jurgen Klinsmann said, he could have had the job when he wanted it. There was some controversial remarks, and everyone took it back. But Bob Bradley's first test is this weekend, and it's not easy. It's against Arsenal.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. So. And speaking of Arsenal, I think that's where eventually, 2 or 3 years, maybe they finally say goodbye and part ways with Arsene Wenger.
We'll see.
And then England welcomes him with open and mediocre arms for a long 5 to 10 year reign.
We will see. We will see. Now Arsenal, of course, is the team of choice for a lot of people in this town. On the soccer fans of Albuquerque page, there's a lot of Arsenal fans. The owner of Star Brothers, John Starr,
he's a huge Arsenal fan. Yeah.
And on that note, let's just do another reminder. This Saturday is First Responders Night. First Responders Saturday. The event that you and Larry talked about earlier in the show. It's such a important thing to remember that these are the people that when these horrible things happen in our community, like the young girl that was killed by her own mother weeks ago, the first responders are the ones that get there and have to take people into their arms and try to figure out what's going on, or if there's someone dead on site, they're the ones that see all that. And I can't imagine what that's like to go through. So there's a stuffed animal drive going on this Saturday, because a lot of times if there's children present at the scene of a disaster, the first thing the first responders will do will give a stuffed animal to a child. So this is a stuffed animal drive that the Patel twins, no relation to me by the way, from the Hit Fit Club are doing, and I encourage everyone to come out and help raise money for this cause. Just let's bring our community together.
Yeah, I mean, another chance for the soccer community in Albuquerque to show just how special and tight-knit of a group they are.
Yep.
Whenever there's been an occasion to raise money or come together, it seems like our soccer community has always done so. So I'm sure at Star Brothers, Saturday, 1 o'clock, did you say?
It's actually all day long.
Oh, all
So
day,
they show
okay.
the Premier League game starting at 8 o'clock, and it goes till 11 o'clock at night. And there's a Facebook event up on our site, or abqsolfc.com if you want to check out the story.
So I'm sure we'll look forward to seeing you then. We wanted to touch Sam Allardyce, so we did that. Then we'll get back into the community a little more after this break. You're watching Soccer Talk with the Soul, brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee. Hey, welcome back to Soccer Talk with the Soul, presented by New Mexico Pinon Coffee, our In the Community segment brought to you by Star Brothers. We want to turn our attention to the New Mexico Lobos right now. And first, let's take a look at some highlights from their last contest against LMU.
Already showing early to be a threat on set pieces.
This is a corner.
There it is! Nicholas Rachowski just...
Player put a great ball over across, and I can't remember who he was a defender, played a good header in. So.
And the Lobos have been, I mean, we'll talk about it a little more after this highlight. You see another goal there,
Yeah.
but I mean, they've been playing some great soccer, Larry.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things that it's really exciting for us to see. There's they're starting to put some great stuff together. You know, they've had a little bit of time to try to figure out which combinations really work, and it's exciting to see. You know, I think Ron and I were at a game and we commented about the fact that over the last couple of years there was about 8 or 9 guys on the actual squad, Soul players that were on the squad for UNM, and they're playing well. Ranked 24th in the country, I think.
Right.
the last standings I saw. So.
And I mean, if you have not had a chance to see Nico Hansen play, I would highly, I mean, the team as a whole are very fun to watch, but just singling a guy out, I could remember seeing Nico Hansen play his freshman year, and my friends and I were like, whoa, this kid's going to be a stud. And sure enough, he has developed into just that.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's just so good.
He runs well with the ball. He moves well without the ball. He's got great vision, has the ability to strike a ball magnificently. I have a feeling that he'll be one of the next players that gets picked to go MLS.
Yeah, I mean, he's just racking up the Conference USA season awards, whether it be Player of the Week honors, Player of the Month honors. I mean, he is just fantastic. Let's look, I mean, they've lost some heartbreakers. If we could throw up the Conference USA standings. So they have a 1-2 conference record right now, so unfortunately they're behind. Charlotte is at the top with 9 points. We see it there, and they just lost a heartbreaker to Charlotte. Again, a penalty at the end.
Yeah, I keep up with Coach Fishbein's comments, and have seen Coach Souders a couple of times. You know, these guys are putting it all together. They just can't find the back of the net. I think in that Charlotte game they hit the post 3 times, and goes back to that. Any team can be beaten on any given day. Yeah.
And I mean, their schedule as a whole, they took that road trip at the beginning of the year to Indiana, where they played Indiana and Notre Dame, and those were 2 teams ranked inside the top 10 in the U.S., and they played them tight, and they lost both of them again at the end of regulation at a last-minute penalty. So it's been some heartbreak for Coach Fishbein. But when you can take a team on the road with you at the beginning of your season to top 10 opponents like Indiana and Notre Dame and hang for 90 minutes, regardless of result, you got to be pretty pleased if you're Coach Fishbein.
Yeah, last standings I saw, Notre Dame's #1 in the country.
Right.
And you're able to hang with them.
Indiana's a soccer blue blood when it comes to collegiate sports.
Yeah, they do a good job here, and I think they're peaking right at the right time. We'll see if the rest of the country can maintain their levels. UNM's peaking, and I expect them to make a good run deep into the tournament.
Right, so their next home matchup would be on a Saturday against Marshall at the soccer complex. That's on the 22nd, a 1 p.m. Start. And talk about how fun of an event that is. I mean, if you haven't been out to a Lobo soccer event, you need to go. Coach Fishbein is putting a quality team on the pitch. I hear all these Lobo fans complaining, I don't want to go to a football game because it's sunny or rainy or dark. Well, Coach Fishbein's putting an absolute winner out on the pitch.
Yeah, when you have a nationally ranked team, we as a community need to support them. We need to support Lobo Athletics in order to continue to grow this. Why not start with the soccer team? They put a quality product out on the field. Let's continue to encourage them so we can watch them go deep in the finals.
I remember one of my most fun tailgates I've ever had was tailgating a couple of years ago when the Lobos took on UCLA. Yeah. That was a Sunday, and we just went out there all day on Sunday. It turns out the light posts have electrical plugs, so we could plug in a TV, check out some NFL, and then it was a 6 o'clock start. I mean, next thing you know, a tailgate which started with 4 buddies, there's 30 people around us. I mean, most of them were Cowboys fans, so we really didn't want them near us, but it was really cool, And I mean, Coach Fishbein, that's a quality team, it's a quality experience. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, how many people came out to support us when we were playing at UNM? It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's good to see, and let's grow that base. Let's grow that base so we can continue to show UNM athletics that they need to invest more money in the soccer program.
Yeah, absolutely. So go support those Lobos. Go support the Soul. Hey, just like the reign of Sam Allardyce, this show has come to a close. So for Larry and Ron, Sebastian, you've been watching Soccer Talk with the Soul, brought to you by New Mexico Pinon Coffee. We'll see you next time.